Good morning. I just wanted to review with you about resources and collection. So our resources are the materials that we're going to use. Remember, I told us we should be breaking as many boxes as we can. I broke my boxes into nice squares and rectangles, and then I have all of those ends, those scrap parts that are also my resources. I've cut so many that I separated them into 2 bags, so it's easier for me to work. I want the nice pieces, the larger pieces, to be the objects, and I want the smaller pieces to be the tabs that are going to help me put things together. Cardboard, resources. Collections. I have water bottles. Now, it's not really feasible for me to bring all of these water bottles to school, right? But I've thought about them, and so I sort of have an idea of how I'd like to use them. So you don't have to bring your collection to school, just as long as you sort of have an idea about the objects you'd like to use. So let me show you one more time how to use your collection with your resources. So I've already used some of my resources to make some pieces for my sculpture that are part of my collection. So I just drew out those simple shapes that were from my collection, and I cut out the outline of them. So you'll notice there's no details, there's no words, there's no Hydro Flask on there. It's just the outside shape. You may be making something that's really big or has a lot of complex shapes, and you can even think about drawing only a part of your collection. So maybe I want to start drawing things like the caps or the caps of my collection. Or maybe I want to look straight down on that circle cap. You also want to think about your resources. If you draw something right in the middle of your resource and then you cut it out, then you lose that whole material. So I just want you to think about how you can fill that entire space so that you get the most out of your resources. You don't want to waste your resources. So here I am, I'm cutting out my resources. I want you to make sure that as you cut, you're always cutting away from you, okay? I know we've talked about this before, but grown-ups can even make mistakes when they're using tools. Watch how I cut away from my body. Sometimes I like to think about it as cutting upward, but away from you is the safest way to cut. So make sure as you cut your resources, it's away from you, and that you're always turning your cardboard, you're turning your work, and not your arm. The last thing I want to talk to you about is staying organized. So again, I have my flat cardboard that's larger and nice. I have my scraps for later. And I like to make sure that every time I make a piece of my sculpture, because I'm going to make a bunch of these, that I store them in a safe place also. So every time I go to work, my materials are exactly where I need them. I don't have to worry about digging through piles to find my bottles, or to find my good pieces of cardboard, or to find something I need to attach something. Remember to stay organized. You can use baggies, but if you don't have a baggie, you can also think about using old envelopes from mail. That's perfect to pop things in. You can use a leftover box as a way to pop your scraps or pieces in. Just remember to stay organized. All right, see you soon.